Welcome to another episode of Krazy Knights, and it's a stinking hot day here in Adelaide. It's been absolutely a scorcher. We've got a hot episode here, a great topic to talk about. But before we get into the topics and of this week's episode, I'd like to introduce my other 5'8", the other halfback or whatever you want to call him, the right hand man. He's not saying bullshit while he's coughing there, but yeah, there's David Fowler. How you going, David?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, it's been a bit warm here today too, but all good. A great weekend actually.
Yeah, the Aussies are kicking the Pommies' ass in the cricket in the Ashes,
Yeah.
and it's about time. Been working there, and yeah, I'm having people coming up to me that recognise who I am actually, and yeah, I love it. But I have to do my other job, which is security, and yeah, I can't really talk to many people while I'm working. But when I'm on my break, please come in and have a chat to me, and we'll have a bit of a laugh. We'll talk about cricket or kiss, whatever. But yeah, when I'm on my lunch break or any breaks, if you see me at any work venue that I'm working at, please come up and give us a yarn. I'm more than willing to have a yarn with anybody. But while I'm working, I can't do that. I'll get my butt kicked from my boss. So yeah. But anyway, we have a hot topic this week. But before we get into the hot topic, we want to go on to you, David. You're looking at the
Yep.
page for Mug of the Week, and there is one comment, I believe, that was
Yeah.
Mug of the Week, if you want to talk about it.
Which one are we talking about? There's the one about if it's too loud, you're too old. Jamie put up. I love the statement, but I had double takes. It looks like Vinny smelling his finger in the photo. If you want to see it, just go to our podcast page and you'll see the photo. And Matthew Grant put up a comment. Oh, maybe Vinny's picking his nose. You know.
I had to have a double take, but the other one I put one up, and you, David, just saying, how the hell did I find a photo of you
Yeah,
with a chimp?
there's a chimp with Gene Simmons makeup on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
above that or just below that, there was a doctor pulling Jane out, and yeah, no wonder Jane was.
That's a classic photo. That one.
Yeah,
That's it was around when they came here for uh, the Kiss Mask Down Under tour, and they did the conventions. That actual photo was part of the display
yeah.
that they put up for
And
and everything.
Jane
So,
did get pulled out by the wrong appendix. You can see they're stretching his tongue out and that, but yeah, got pulled out by the wrong appendix. And
yeah, yes, we don't want to. Yes, we don't want to to go blue on that one. So yeah,
yeah, another mug of the week I posted up
uh,
was the new Kiss Cruise. It's gonna be on top of a 747 airliner. Yeah, you book now,
uh,
book now. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I'd just like to know how they will lift off the floor, but you never know. They can do anything. But yeah, if you want to book your Kiss Cruise, just get this out of the way. Pre-sales goes on next month, and got to sign up. So I'm encouraging all the fans that hasn't signed up just yet to please go on there. And if you want to see me next year and my darling wife to be on our honeymoon, we'll be there next year. Please go over there and sign up so you can get the pre-sale and you can get all the great things that the Kiss Cruise does. But David, I do want to go on to something else before we get on to
yep,
this week's topic. Last week's episode was about the residency act. If Kiss does decide to do a residency casino show and what album they should do in it full, I do have a lot of comments, and this is mind blowing. This is probably the best comments, well, the most comments we ever had in any episode. But the thing is,
mm,
you can't have one without the other. We get more comments on this episode, but less views, and you can't win. But it's all good. It all comes in part and parcel of what we do. We don't care about the numbers. We're not getting paid for it. This is just what we do every week, weekend, weekday if we can do it. But yeah, we got comments that was just an eye opening for me, and I'm saying the fans are starting to go. And
maybe.
yeah, go on. Yep.
No, yeah, maybe they're starting to use all our other outlets that we put it up on, and that's maybe maybe why the views are down on YouTube.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I, I do have people saying that they only been accessing it via the phone, and sometimes the phone
Mm,
won't operate properly. I mean, my smartphone, iPhone, sometimes don't load up YouTube
mm.
on a certain time of the day.
Well,
But
yeah, I've found out with the iPhone as well that it's not really great for YouTube.
yeah,
So which is why I changed phones. But yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah,
But
or
not everyone can get
yeah,
it. But if they can
that's
see
fair
it on
enough.
Facebook, they can see it on Facebook. But I'm glad that we got these comments because David, you've been looking on our podcast page. I'm looking on my own
Uh-huh.
private wall on Facebook
Yeah,
at the moment, and most of them are going for either Destroyer
Destroyer or
or
a
a
Kiss
live one.
Alive.
Yeah, Kids Alive.
Uh,
There are some here that they will.
Yeah,
I've got
I
our
mean,
friend Ben Kelly from Geelong. He wants to listen to, not from Geelong, up at Ballarat. Dynasty or Dynasty, Dress to Kill or Destroyer.
mm.
Um, Someone obviously agreed to what we said, David. Creatures of the Night and Revenge.
Or
Um,
even I was saying maybe the first album,
yeah, Brian.
being the tie it all in with the whole 40th anniversary thing with the band of the band, and maybe do the whole first album.
Yeah, we
Or
have Brian Bennett that obviously wants Hotter Than Hell to be done.
yeah,
Um, yeah, we've got another guy say Kiss Alive 2 to be to do that in its full.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we've got all those ones. But you got any more on the podcast page? It's basically
Hang on, let's go down a bit here.
I
Uh,
did see the Elder there. Oh, there was one. Our friend from America, Rex. He
yeah,
said a YouTube comment he would like to have the Elder done in its full.
yeah. Because again, I suppose as much as what Destroyed did, it kind of lends itself a little bit more to the maybe symphony arrangements more than say some of the others more obviously because of the orchestration on some of the tracks that are actually on the album. Uh, And yeah, I'd say the elder working, and it'd be kind of kind of strange since the album didn't do that well originally. How it, doing the whole of the elder would be received now. I mean, obviously, a lot of us, including myself, would love to see some of the older tracks played live, and in a normal set like the Oath, the Elder. I mean, sorry, I
Mm.
and Well Without Heroes again. It'd be it'd be good, but hopefully, it'd be interesting seeing how that would be received if they did do that album.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
yeah,
would love to get
I
Tommy.
don't, I couldn't see them actually possibly. Yeah, I couldn't really see them doing the Elder for the 40th.
Mm.
It would probably, if they were going to do it, yeah, to me it'd be more. This is my view. It'd be more one of the more iconic Kiss albums if they did do it in their entirety, like Destroyer,
Mm.
or maybe like the first album. As I said, to tie the whole thing that it's 40 years since the first album, so let's do that album in its entirety. Be interested to see how the arrangements for, say, the whole orchestral arrangements would be for like Juice, and all that. See how that'd go.
Well, the producer of this show, he does all the
Mm.
timekeeping and all the animations and the editing. Basically,
That's
passed
it.
on.
Which is basically Jamie's wife to be.
Yeah,
Mm.
and yeah, we can't actually put it. She has not been on our show. I think one special episode we'll get her on our show one day, and just to do some sign language or whatnot. But yeah, she basically said that why don't they do the Monster album in its full?
Mm.
Something
Yeah.
new, something new. Let
Yeah,
the
they probably would. They've been
yeah, they
yeah
probably would.
probably
But she just
pro-
basically went on
yeah.
to the fact to give Eric and Tommy their own songs a chance to play live. I mean, we did get Out of This World, but we didn't really get.
Well, if they would do say Destroyer, I mean you get obviously Eric singing Beth.
Well, she loves
Uh,
Beth. That's the first one that she said. She wants
yeah.
Destroyer to be done because she loves Beth. But I turned around and said to her, "Will we get sick and tired for another Destroyer release? We just had the Resurrection last year, but if they
Mm,
do it right this time and doing it as a live concept album like Viva Hysteria did, maybe it will work. Maybe it should work.
yeah.
Because basically they've been wearing the Destroyer costume since the what 2009 and just been putting different touches
Mm,
to it, and they're just building and build it to it what
uh,
it became to the monster and that. But yeah, they've done it on the Live 35 with the Destroyer costume, so and that.
mm.
But David, we're going on to this week's topic,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's a hot topic, and
Which, yeah, would
we have
want me to?
touched on this a little bit, and I have mentioned in the Steve Cornell episode,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
actually we're going to be talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yep.
Obviously, there's only about 2 to 3 days to vote,
Mhm.
um, and because it will close. Well, voting will close on Wednesday our time in Australia time, but probably got 2 days left in America for it to sort of for it to vote. So get on voting. Make sure Kiss get in as the number one band. Obviously, at the moment they're about 1.11% in front of Nirvana. Let's
Well,
get me.
17% from what I'm seeing here on the
No,
vote.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'm thinking it's in front of Nirvana. Kiss are on at the moment since I voted again. On 227,019 votes at 17%. Nirvana are on 212,157 at 15.89%.
Yeah,
So
I got
about
different.
1.1% between the two bands.
Yeah,
We don't want
I got different.
we don't want Nirvana getting ahead of Kiss. So please, people keep voting for Kiss.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I got different numbers here on my end.
Yeah.
Kiss are 227 and 23 votes with 17%.
Uh,
Nirvana
well, yeah,
212,159 votes. But the thing
yeah.
is, I would like to get say Nirvana in there. I mean, not above Kiss.
Not
The reason why I
not
want
now.
Nirvana in there now, they influenced the grunge era. They they're the ones that brought in different generation of music into in the
Yeah,
nineties
but
and
you don't want them going in
above Kiss.
uh
According to this fan
in the
poll,
same year as Kiss. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
They can go in later. They can wait a year or two like Kiss did.
which I
But
reckon that won't happen. If it's gonna,
yeah, I
I
know.
reckon they're doing this due to the anniversary of Kurt Cobain. So, got
Yeah,
I
so
hate to drink.
yeah, because
I
it
hate
would
to drink.
be what about 20 years since Kurt Cobain passed away. He passed away
I think it's the
April
20th. I
not
think
April '94, I think.
it's the 20th anniversary of his
Yeah.
and that. But the thing is, in my eyes, yeah, they do deserve to go in Nirvana.
No doubt. I mean, no doubt. I'm not saying Nirvana should never
But the
be in.
thing is, and this is where I'm going to get political, and if people
No.
going to abuse this episode, please, I'd love to see it because you might not be a Kiss fan. If you're a rock fan in general and your
Mm.
own band didn't get in, right, and you're just basically saying a band like an artist like Madonna getting in, you might not be a Kiss fan, but it's an insult to you being a rock fan saying all these other people. I mean, just go on their poll. They got LL Cool J. Lucky he's on 25,000 votes, but the thing is, what does LL Cool J got to do with rock and roll music?
Mm.
I saw Hall
No.
and Oates last year. I was doing a security work for Hall and Oates up at the Day on the Green, and
Yeah.
they got
Well,
a
they're nominated, yeah.
yeah,
But
they're nominated.
I doubt that. Nah, we'll see.
this is what really pisses me off. A band or rap artist called NWA. They started out in the late 80s, early 90s. NWA. They're rap. What the hell are they got to do with rock and roll music? If they want these people to go in, change the name to a music hall of fame. Because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like I said this 2 weeks ago, it sounds to me they take the word of rock out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the title of rock and roll, rock, and threw it out the window. It's a spit in the face, whether you're a rock fan, whether you're an AC/DC fan, Metallica, Def Leppard. If if Kiss are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's an insult to you as a rock fan.
Oh,
Now,
it's an insult to insult to every rock fan. There's like even like Deep Purple that aren't in as well. I mean,
well, there's a
yeah,
question I want to ask you, Dave. I know we're going to go
is
into
it,
this in a
I
bit more
mean,
depth.
Deep Purple have been around longer than Kiss.
But why is
Uh,
it that bands that go up on a first nomination, first time they get nominated, and yet they
mm,
get in? This is the third time Kiss been nominated.
mm,
You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Guns N' Roses first time they were nominated, boom, straight in.
Yeah, well, it's obviously a political thing
Nirvana, Nirvana, very
in behind the scenes at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in particular with two members
yeah. Let's talk
of
about
the
them.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Jan Wenner and Dave Marsh.
Well,
Have
Mars looks like
made it absolutely clear that they do not want Kiss in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, Mars looks like a marshmallow out of Ghostbusters that can be zapped anytime he wants. And the other
yeah,
one is a complete freaking dopehead that lives in a basement of his own parents' house when he first started, and I think he still does. Because
uh,
last year, when Russ, well, yeah, even this year, when Russ got nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there were two Kiss
yeah,
fans, and that's on YouTube. I'll see a video. I'll put it up very shortly. There was a couple of Kiss fans asking, I think it was Dave Marsh or could be the other guy, after the ceremony and saying, why isn't Kiss being nominated? He said, sorry, I don't have time, and he just stormed off. Right? Didn't want
yeah.
to talk about it. But from what I'm hearing, the reports, and
Mm.
this is a widespread report here, it's not a rumour, that Kiss are more likely now got more of a 50% chance like they did 3 years ago.
Well,
Now,
it's been
Kiss have been in this situation before, 3 years ago.
yeah. Well, obviously, as I said, all the whole before, the whole marketing thing of them being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the tied in with the whole 40th anniversary thing. It'd be a huge marketing thing for Kiss if they got in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as far as marketing, how they you know base all around the tour that they'll do next year. You know, but and all that is great marketing tool for the band to have. And yeah, so yeah,
It,
uh, that's probably why. It's probably why. I mean, Jan and Paul have been sort of pushing the vote thing on their Twitter page as well.
mm,
Uh, I mean, they know that we all would love for them to be in it and all that, to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
mm.
They've since said in the past that they don't they don't particularly care themselves a bit, but we wonder about that now. They
But
wonder about that now that they do.
Jane wanted to buy the bloody thing.
Maybe that's a good idea. I actually mentioned that on somebody's page a bit yesterday about Gene should buy the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Maybe kick Joe Werner and Dave Marsh out.
Do you think?
Um,
Well, this is a question. Since that Jane and Paul are constantly retweeting and posting up on their Twitter page
yeah.
to get the fans behind this voting, do
Mm.
you think, in a way, that Gene is biting his words what he said about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 years ago?
No, not particularly. I think he's doing it because he knows that maybe he still doesn't care too much for the Rock and Roll of Fame, but as an entity, but
But why does he
maybe,
care now? But the
maybe,
question I want
well,
to
maybe,
ask is, why does he care now? The fans
yeah,
have always been
because
there. The
yeah,
fans have always been there.
like,
Yeah.
that's probably, as I just said, marketing for the 40th anniversary. Um, he knows that we all want them in there, um, and all that, and maybe they know something behind the scenes that maybe that's why they're saying there's more than a 50% chance that the Kiss will be in there this year. Um, so I think the way that correct me, please, people correct me if I'm wrong here about the the voting process for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That some of the nominees, like the people, the bands and artists that are already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame actually do vote. Um, I might be wrong there. So which means that you've got guys like Metallica, artists like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Alice Cooper, and all that would probably be voting for Kiss to be in there. Actually, we know Alice Cooper will be. If the band, the artists, the inducted artists actually vote. So uh, that's where maybe they've got more of a chance this year than any and all that to actually be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, we know we want Kiss in there.
Oh hell yeah!
They have
And,
influenced
and,
a
and,
lot of.
no, even though we don't care much for the institution of it, but to have the
But the
you know
problem is, this is where the problem lied back in 72, 73 when Kiss first started. That Kiss was not considered as a serious band. The critics basically said they were a gimmick, and they were more of a circus show. Well, they are a circus show. There's more bombs and things going on stage than anything else. But take away the makeup, take away the
yeah
bombs, take away that, go on to the albums. There's a
yeah.
lot of great music that was recorded.
Well,
There might
I
not be
mean,
hits, there might not be hits, but
mm,
for what I know is, I know there's a lot of guitar players picked up their guitar because of Ace Frehley.
exactly. I mean, that's why I'm starting to learn to play was because of Ace. If it wasn't for Kiss, I wouldn't be into rock and roll music as we know it now.
And
So
even Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer, who are members of Kiss now, they're Kiss fans as well. They were Kiss fans when they were younger, and I
mm,
remember when Tommy Thayer was practicing
yeah,
around in his bedroom on a tennis racket.
and then there's stories of Eric Singer when he used to sneak into the theater in Cleveland when Kiss was playing and he got kicked out of the theater.
Yeah, because they're trying to climb
Remember
up
that
to
one?
they're trying to
Yeah,
climb up to the second pier, and the lights were going around for fire out, and he got spotted.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, they were Kiss fans as well. So the question I want to ask you, Dave, is
Mm,
even though that Gene and Paul and the guys from Kiss know that the fans want them to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
yeah.
let's put it on the professional hat with Kiss.
Mm.
Why are they? What reason do Kiss themselves think they should deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if now they are starting to care and starting to listen to some of these critics, which is healthy critics, mind you, about
Yeah.
them getting to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this time, especially
Well,
Gene and Paul.
as I just said, it's with the marketing for the 40th anniversary next year from the first album, and maybe we know maybe they're coming towards the twilight of their career. That being recognised, as in the being the Hall of Fame for one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Um, that's why. I mean, it's a marketing tool they could use, and yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. What I think it really is, the reason why they're starting to care now is, yes, their career is on a end at the moment. It's going to end sooner rather than later, I know. But I
Mm.
also believe they want to go out on top.
Yeah, well,
They've done
they're
everything. They've done everything else. They've
uh,
they've been on top of the world. They've been they've done this and done that. They haven't got a #1 album yet. They've got a #2 album, but they have never had a #1 album yet on the Billboard
Yeah.
charts.
Uh,
Take that out of consideration. I believe that Kiss themselves, especially Gene and Paul, would like the recognition, even though they don't look for it, but they still
no.
want to be recognised or cemented in rock history, even though they
Yeah.
know they have, but just to be
Yeah.
an evident footprint for themselves in the
Mm.
rock books, stating that they have got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame status. And I believe that's the mountain they climb and they want to reach to the top. No
Yeah.
challenge is a big challenge for Kiss. They conquer or they take no prisoners. If they want to take you out, they'll take you out. If you're the
Yeah.
opening band or if you're the headliner, by the
Mm-hmm.
time Kiss goes on stage, they'll knock you off your feet.
Mm.
But with
To me, and with the Rock and Roll, if they do get inducted this time, to me, even though they mightn't play with the original four as the original four, to have them up on the Ace and Peter up on stage with them to accept the award would be nice. I mean, even though
yeah, but
if
just
they do get play on the night with Tommy and Eric, just to have them up there and even have Bruce Kulick up there. Bruce Kulick is as we know, massive part of history, and maybe have Loretta Caravello up there representing Eric Carr.
somebody told me that Vinnie Vincent should be there, and I have had a big argument.
Technically, we all know.
Do we
Technically,
care?
no. Yeah,
Be
he
honest,
did.
Dave. Do we care?
Let's be honest. Yeah, he did play on a Kiss album.
Oh,
Technically,
yeah,
he did
he
play on
did.
a
He
Kiss
played on
album.
two.
Two. Well, credited for two.
One of them.
Yeah, maybe. But well, he'd never really signed the contract. So technically, was he ever a member of the band? Technically.
Yeah. He was a replacement.
Yeah. Well, Bruce was a replacement as well, but
But he signed a contract.
yes.
But what I'm
But
trying to get at is that
really, all living members should be up there
well,
technically.
yeah, Ace and Peter should be there accepting an award, and I believe, and I say this in all humbleness and honesty, and I have been called I was an arrogant prick because I'm too open and honest. And if that is what you call arrogance, well, yeah, then I'm
Yeah.
arrogant. But I'll be
Uh,
honest. You don't have to agree with it. This is just my opinion.
mhm.
I reckon the only people that should be eligible, should be only entitled to get that award, will be the four originals. But recognise the whole band as a whole.
But yeah, they won't play as the four originals.
No.
So,
I know that.
but
And this is
really,
the
no,
thing. And this is the thing.
really, all living members that played on a Kiss album.
But according to
We're actually members of the band, not just like ghost players and all that sort of thing. Like we know Robin Ford and Bob Kulick and all that were, and Dick Wagner and all that were. The guys that were in the band, actually members of the band, should all be recognised and inducted, which is kind of the reason why when Metallica got getting on to another band again, but when Metallica were inducted, the reason why Dave Mustaine was never inducted with Metallica because he never played on a Metallica album, even though his songs were on Metallica albums, but he never actually played. Was fired from the band before they did record the first album. Actually, he was fired when they were going to New York to record the first album.
But
So
would Ace and Peter, well, especially Peter, well, even Ace, will they do what Axl Rose did with Guns N' Roses and never turn up?
well, you never know. If it depends if they get asked to show up.
But
you know.
it's been asked to Gene and Paul on the Kiss cruise just recently, will they play with Ace and Peter? Now, we know there was an article that went around about that Gene said they will never play with.
For the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it was on the Kiss cruise. It was a Q&A session, and they
Yeah.
asked because there was an article what Gene wrote, well, both have said to Classic Rock magazine, which he backlashed them and said they took it out of context and it wasn't what he said. They said, yeah, we'll play with Ace and Peter on stage with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if they're willing to do it. But there will
Yeah.
never be another reunion.
Yeah, no. It'd be just great just for one night to see them play together again, you know.
But that's the question.
And to be honest with you, even have Tommy and Eric up there, have it like they did with
the thing I was going to ask.
The unplugged.
Well, this is the thing I was going to ask. We know the rules and regulation of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that you are eligible for after the first album, 25 years after the first album.
Mm.
With a band like Kiss, because there's been so many band changes and current lineups and different lineups and that, would they decide to go 25 years of each lineup change? If that's the case, Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer are not eligible.
No, I think the rules are that any living member of the band is after the 25 years from the first album who played with them is eligible.
You just have to look at
because that's why Metallica were inducted with Robert Trujillo.
Even though I don't like him as a bass player, but yeah.
Oh, I love him as bass.
Jason Newsted's better than him. Even Chris.
No, he isn't. You should see some of the stuff he used to do with Infectious Grooves. We'll talk about that later. Getting off topic a little bit.
But I'm going on the topic, like we're talking about the lineup or who should be there and that. But I'm going on for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When I saw Van Halen there, they had Sammy Hagar there, they had Mike Anthony, they weren't even in the band anymore. Eagles was there. How many people that came in and out of the Eagles, and yet the whole band was inducted in. The same as Metallica. The only difference was 2 years ago when Guns N' Roses gone in, it was only for the original band because...
I believe when Metallica played, didn't Jason Newsted get up with them as well? So it was kind of like five of them?
Yes, they played.
And then actually Cliff Burton's father was there as well. So, I mean, that's where I was getting to say, all living members, all living members and family members of the
deceased. So that means someone from the Mark St. John family should be up there.
Possibly, but they won't. Maybe he was only in for like 5 minutes.
But he will be behind the rolling. He'll be behind the rolling ball. It'll be Gene and Paul. You reckon? Or Doc?
All three of them. All three of them.
Well, why don't they have someone from Bill O'Coin family or Sean Delaney or Neil Bogart? Without those three guys and Joyce Barrowitz as well.
No, but but you just got it members of the band, the actual artists.
But they should be recognised as well. Same as Steve Cornell, he should be recognised.
But Steve was never a member of Kiss.
No, but we know this for a fact. He wasn't a member of Kiss.
I know, but he was never a member of Kiss.
What I'm saying, recognised is creditised. They should be given credit because without Steve introducing Paul to Gene, Kiss would never have happened.
Yeah, but they'll probably personally give him credit, but they won't.
Just do a speech, just say, "Hey, we want to contract."
They may, you know.
What I reckon, what Gene will probably do for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can kiss my ass, see ya, thank you, good night, and fuck off. Or tick the bird up. Or just do what that guy out of Rush did this year for fucking 7 minutes. Blah 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 blah.
Apparently the other Geddy Lee and Neil Peart didn't know he was going to do that.
No. Apparently one of them wanted to punch him in the face with the bloody thing, you know?
I
They want to knock him
think
out.
I think that was Neil Peart actually.
Hmm.
But that would have been funny to see. If anyone's,
It is on YouTube.
if it,
It is on
yeah,
YouTube.
if anyone of my friends who is on who watches this has seen that, please post it to my page. I want to see it.
I'll post it to
I've
you.
heard of
I'll
it.
give.
It's
I'll
cool,
give it
mate.
to you. I'll give it to you. I'll
Yeah.
post it to you. But like I'm
Well,
saying, going back to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we don't know what's going on. So this is where the talk is going. It happened 3 years ago. There was a talk about it, and then we were just so disappointed. And then we saw who got in. I was like, how can they fucking get this band in or artist in without this band? You know, if you go to another, well, I won't. Well, bugger it. I've been seeing some reports, and one of another band that we've been following closely is Striper, and
Mm,
we
yeah.
have got Michael Sweet following us on Twitter, and he put up a conversation of all these different artists who said that Kiss should be inducted in, and we had John Bon Jovi up there, Metallica, Glass Early, Kurt Hammett. There's a lot. Even Dave Mustaine even said
Well,
something.
Dave Mustaine's a big Kiss fan as well.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, he's Megadeth have recorded Kiss songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is,
Yeah.
Kiss have influenced a lot of artists
Yeah.
in the world. Look, there's a country and
I
western
mean,
singer from Australia.
it's not even just rock artists.
Yeah,
They've influenced rappers, uh, Madonna,
even though I don't like
Madonna,
that music, but yeah.
yeah, well, Madonna uh, was going to do "I Was Made for Loving You" for "Kiss My Ass." Don't know what Tupac was going to do. I can't remember. If I'll have to have a look back at
She's my homie.
Kiss My. I have to look back at Kiss My Ass and have, because there was a list that was shown on Kiss My Ass and had all the band, like the list of artists and what songs they were going to do. But I
Well,
remember seeing Madonna doing "I Was Made for was going to do "I Was Made for Loving You."
well, well,
Um,
well, well, well.
Megadeth were going to do, originally going to do
Detroit Rock City.
Detroit Rock City until Mighty Mighty Boss Tones got it. Um,
The
then
impression
th-
that I get. Yep.
no, but I'm assuming that's why they ended up doing Strange Ways.
I think even
And
the Blowfish was asked to do one too because the two bands that were up in the top at 94.
I think even Motley Crue were kind of asked too. I think, but
Well,
due to record company
well, let,
bullshit and all that, and
well, let's
that never happened.
well, let's throw out some surprises of who Kiss have actually influenced. There was a country and western singer from Australia. He lives in Nashville. Who's married to Nicole Kidman. His name Keith Urban. He's
Keith,
influenced by Kiss as well. He's also designed his own guitar, like the mirror ball guitar, the Fracture Mirror, just recently on a couple of tours ago. Yes, he's
yeah.
coming to Australia again to do the Clipsal. I'm not going because I reckon it's crap, but that's my personal belief. But hey,
Mm.
Lady Gaga, another one. I personally don't like Lady Gaga, but Kiss have influenced her. Don't know how, don't know why, I don't care, but they have.
I think that's more with, if you look at her like
Well, she's
theatrics
a
and all
freak the same
that,
as Kiss.
the theatrics, more with theatrics than the music side of thing. I think.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
she's a freak the same as Kiss. They put two and two together and you get a whole package. So, yeah.
possibly even Prince.
Prince.
Uh, or Prince apparently. Uh, Prince Kiss's lighting director or whatever, something to do with the Kiss camp. Uh, Ended up working with Prince. I'm sure it might have been lighting one of the ended up working with Prince.
Well, I do know this. When I was on the radio 3 years ago, a band that was around called Bad City wrote a song about Paul Stanley. They were heavily influenced by Kiss as well. I played their single on their radio show back here.
Oh, I mean, as far as the obvious bands who have been influenced by them, you got Poison, um,
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. We know Nikki Sixx, a big Kiss fan. Uh, who else got a mental blank? Here, Metallica, Megadeth, uh,
Cinderella, Skid
Cinderella,
Row,
Skid Row,
Slaughter,
uh, Slaughter, yeah, just
Twisted Sister, probably.
not so much Twisted Sister, but even there's probably Australian, a lot of Australian bands out here that influenced Pegasus. Um,
Well, no, Super
yeah,
Jesus were heavily. Well, another Sarah McLeod from Super Jesus loved the Kiss. She's had the Ace
yeah,
Frehley doll.
it's Screaming Jets even,
Yep, Greenspan.
or Greenspan, all influenced by Kiss
Mm.
in some way or another. Um, so
You always find a jigsaw puzzle that connects back to
yeah,
Kiss. I mean, it's like Bruce Kulick. He played with
yeah,
Meatloaf with his brother, where his brother was at the audition with Kiss, and then later on plays of his Kiss on the Animalize, and then started off his
yeah,
career.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah. So to be, I mean, yeah. So I mean, it'd be. I think this year's the year. To be honest, that we'll see them
I'm keeping
inducted.
I'm keeping an open mind for one reason
Yeah,
and one reason only. Kiss been screwed before, twice before.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not. Obviously, I mean, if they screw them, get screwed again. I won't be surprised. But it'd
Oh,
be. I just think that this year.
there'll be a complete backlash of fans this time around because how can a band is on top of the polling at the moment? Which, in my own opinion, the polling probably doesn't really matter which way it goes in a certain way because it's just a fan poll. It doesn't necessarily tell what the outcome of the nomination is going to be. But from what we heard, the top five bands go into a poll vote of the of this, right? And Kiss are out on top. But we know what the rules and regulations, we know what the politics, backyard politics for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's got. They changed this. They're the one that have the final say. They will change this with a blink of an eye. If they don't want Kiss in there, like we mentioned before, they won't get Kiss in there. They'll make up any excuse under the sun to avoid Kiss getting in there. Now, we know that Kiss should be in there. They have a place in rock and roll history and that and blah blah blah. But
Mm.
without the recognition, I mean, they don't need to be recognised, but just to show something, to say, yes, we have got that status, yes, this will be a way to say, thank you, good night, we're done, or see you later.
Mm.
Let them go out on top. That's the only way I see it. They should go out on top, and this is the only way that I see Kiss should go out on top, be inducted in. They should have been inducted in back in '99, but
Yeah, 15 years ago,
you
nearly.
know,
Mm.
but we know the rules of politics, but we wanted to, I think what this is for Tom Hall that passed away just recently over the last month and a half. This was
Yeah.
for him,
Mm.
you know. I mean, imagine if we had a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Australia. Oh, we might, you know.
Well, there has been talk that they've been trying to get that up and happening. I think Michael Chugg's had something to do with that, trying to get that happening. But whether it ends up happening or it's a different thing. You know.
Well, I do want Deep Purple to go in there. They should have been there
Oh yeah.
ages ago.
To be honest, they should have been in before Kiss.
Hmm.
I mean, they've been around a lot. They've been around since the '60s.
Yeah.
Um, um, they should have been in before Kiss, but they've just as much as Kiss have.
Hmm.
Um, and
But
then there's even bands like, to be honest, even Judas Priest have been around longer than Kiss, but their first album didn't come out until I think Rock and Roll. I forget what year Rock and Roll came out, but bands like Judas Priest deserve to be in there as well. They've massive influence on metal,
hmm.
um, and all that. So
New York
I mean,
Dolls will be in there because Kiss got most of their stuff from the New York Dolls as well. Status Quo, Slade, Raspberries,
but
like that.
the New York Dolls were away for a long, long time. They came back a while ago. They're still around today. There was a big chunk of time where they just were not playing at all, as far as I know. Or I could be wrong.
Doesn't matter if they
But
haven't been. I mean, Nirvana hasn't been playing since
they
'94.
haven't been they haven't been putting out they haven't put out albums for like 40 years. I mean, I think they were disbanded for quite a long time, from the 70s up until about the 90s. So away for a good 20 years, I think.
But see, Nirvana hasn't been around since '94, only because someone decided to blow his head off, and now he's up for nomination. So
Yeah,
who's going to
but they're
take?
kind of been kept in the limelight because of the Foo Fighters
Yeah.
and all that being around as well. So
Who will take that? Oh, here's a question just to throw out there. Who will take his award if they get in?
yeah, let's maybe I don't know whether Courtney Love would go up, maybe, but maybe his daughter Frances Bean would go up.
Mm.
Maybe, or maybe because maybe I don't know whether Kurt Novoselic and Dave Grohl are on good terms with Courtney Love again, but or so, maybe, someone will represent Kurt if they go up,
Yeah. But
even if it's just Dave and Kurt,
yeah.
or and they'll go up and like talk about Kurt and that as well.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we'll go back to me other question I gave you.
Uh,
Would Ace and Peter turn up, or would they not turn up? I mean,
oh,
there are some questions that zooming
we-
around, but the thing is, kids are not in there yet. We
yeah,
only find out what's happened. I mean, for what we see here, Kiss are on top, and I reckon they're going to be on top for the next 2 days, 2.5 days. I can't see. I really can't see Nirvana taking over Kiss from here. I mean,
no,
between Nirvana and Kiss, there's about a one
one point the
point
1.1%,
yeah
somewhere
one point
around
one
that mark.
percent difference between it.
Mm.
But Kiss have got 17% of all the votes that's been voted. Nirvana's got 15.88% of all the votes that's been tallied. We can take out Deep Purple because only on 11, almost 12% of all the
Well,
votes.
it's in the top five anyway, so they'd be in it anyway.
Yeah, but
Uh,
between Nirvana and Kiss, it's like almost 2% separating.
yeah.
And I reckon in the next 2 days, I can't see that's happening.
No, well, if we keep voting enough and all that,
Well,
and
Kiss has been
we'll
on
keep
top.
it up
Well,
there.
I've just been given a thing. Kiss has been on top for the last 2 weeks. I reckon Kiss has been on top for the last 2 months.
Well, not 2 months, but they've been on for at least top for at least the last 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, well, Shay said she'd been. Well, Shay, who is a producer, had
Mm.
said that they've been on top for the last 2 weeks. So,
I think that, I think they've been on a little bit longer than that, but
yeah.
they've been on top for quite a while now, so which is good. Great. It's great that
I can't.
the
I,
fans are getting up there and supporting the band, and I've voted a few times to make
yeah,
sure that they get in.
I seriously can't see the gap getting any closer in the next 2 days. I
No.
could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
So it's like, as long as they get up, and they're the top band, I'll be voting a few more times before the 10th
yeah,
when voting closes, and let's hope we see finally, and the words of the rock, finally, Kiss get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Oh, I can't
But
do that bloody eyebrow thing.
well, keep getting all these like when you're on a David Letterman and beside the camera there's like a score person down there with all the
Yeah.
letters. Well, I've got a
Uh,
producer here just keep putting up all these scorecards and with all these words on it. And apparently, the poll's been up for the last 2 months and the last 4 months, and according to the reports that we just got now, Kiss have been on top for the last 2 weeks. I reckon they've been on for longer than that. I reckon at least a month. 2,
Uh,
3 weeks.
so remember somebody, a friend John Wicker put it up when they did finally make it on top, and it's been
It's
at
been close.
least
I know
it's been over 2 weeks. I know that.
it's been really close between Kiss and Nirvana. We know that, and it's
Yeah,
been swapping.
and
I have seen it swap. I know Nirvana was on top before and Kiss
yeah,
was second, and then for some, within a matter of 24 hours, Kiss was way out on top, and now the gap is closing. And that.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's say people, Kiss fans, keep voting for the band. Right up as many times as you can up until the 10th of December. Make sure you keep voting because
Voting.
we all want to see them in there.
We.
Finally,
I will say this: the voting does not basically give the end result, but
no, it doesn't, but it contributes to it
it just to
in
give
in a small way.
some type of a leg up for Kiss. If they're on top of this polling, for what I can gather, the top 5 bands or artists go into the poll, or they look at the top 5 and they can just say, alright, we want that band in. This is what I've been told. All this goes into the boardroom and whenever it is. I know,
I think if they don't put them in this time, then
blow it up.
there'll be some serious outcry.
There'll be
I
more than
mean,
just an
if they
outcry.
don't go, they don't. I mean, if they wouldn't want to discount them for a third time.
Alright, I'll say this, and I'm not doing this because I'm a smart ass or anything. I'm saying this because I can and I'm honest. If I get in the shit for this, I get in the shit for this. Next year, when I go over there for my honeymoon, I'll personally go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, and I'll walk up to the freaking door and I'll piss on the bloody thing. If Kiss is not in this time, I'll do it for all the Kiss fans. I don't care. It's a political statement.
Oh, jeez.
I will wear my Kiss shirt and I will piss on the fucking door. I will.
Yeah, I haven't got. Make sure you carry enough money to grab bail on that.
Or I'll just do what I did at the Screaming Jerk concert. Just eat a couple of chili burgers beforehand and do a mushy fart while walking the door and walk out the exit door and leave the smell inside.
All right,
And
yeah.
then they'll blame that the smoke bomb just let off. So yeah, I'll do that. But no, I mean, seriously, I mean, Kiss doesn't get in this year. You will hear a lot of retribution against it.
Yeah,
There'll be a
people
lot of
will
shit
be.
hitting the ceiling, and I can see it a mile away. Even now, why vote for this poll thing? Because people know what the outcome's going to be. They already know what the outcome's going to be before it even gets there. But keep an open mind, people, because this could be the only thing that could ever happen. I mean, this is the third time. They do say, in hindsight, for a third time it's lucky. This is the third time, so who knows? Who knows?
Mm.
This could be the luck of the card. They might just put out the wild card and Kiss get through. Who knows?
Yeah,
But they can also throw a curveball. So
yeah.
you never know. But I just like to go in, like I said, yeah, Gene and Paul have been very, very Twitter happy talking about it and getting the fans on board. And, you know, why is that? And you said it was the marketing. I think another way is that, yeah, they probably do realise they've got a chance now. They don't want the opportunity to slip.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. Be a great tool. You know, if they did get in, you know, look, you know, with Rock and Roll Hall of Famers and all this sort of thing, and for the 40th anniversary and all, you know, selling point around that for merchandise and all that.
Whether it's a 40th anniversary or not, I still don't believe. In a way, I do and I don't. Okay, I'll say this. In a way, being a 40th anniversary, it doesn't make any difference. They should have been in there in '99, right? This is the 20th anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death. That's why they've been.
Well, yeah, I'd say they'll get in, but I'm hoping to God the Kiss get in with them.
whether it's a 40th anniversary or not, I still don't think it's the main reason. I still don't think it's the main reason. I think someone
Mate,
has burst a bubble. I really, really think someone has burst a bubble and getting people like Alex Cooper and people in the music world screaming for Kiss to be in, and I think they have
I think
finally woken up.
I think that some of the artists that like the inducted artists that are from this year and back get a vote. Uh, the like each band or artist has a vote on it.
Hmm.
So I reckon with the amount of bands like Alice Cooper's, Guns N' Roses, Metallica that have gone in the last 3 to 4 years,
Hmm.
um, will be if the bands like the artists get a vote, we'll all be voting for Kiss.
Hmm.
Um, so there's more. I reckon. Yeah, there's a good chance that they will be in this year. So
Yep.
that's my opinion anyway.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they get snubbed again. But I'm pretty. Yeah, I think this will be the year. Like, I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame can say that this whole marketing thing from their end.
Hmm.
They do that 40 with the 40th year from Kiss, and maybe they struck somehow. Kiss has struck a deal with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Hmm.
over past differences. Uh, I think. Um,
Money talk,
uh,
bullshit walks, I say.
well, even I think Frank Munoz talked about. Remember, I think on the previous episode we did with him.
Yep.
Uh, Maybe they've come to some sort of agreement there, uh, and now that's why maybe they're getting everybody, you know, twittering everybody to vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep. Well,
So,
that's our opinion. That's our
yeah,
opinion. It's time
that's
to wrap it up, Dave. But you want to give
yep,
out the questions to the fans and the listeners out there? Get them to do whatever they want to do.
yeah. Well, yeah. Please, get everybody vote. We'll put the link if you haven't got the link or don't know the link. Look in our podcast page. We'll be putting the link to the vote up on our page, and please make sure you vote for the band.
Hmm.
For Kiss number one, probably I put Nirvana last.
No,
Just
put
so
NWA last. Put
no,
Foo
no, no,
Fighters.
but I mean, if it, in the because you only get to vote for five, put them as number five. Maybe even not to vote for Nirvana because they're getting too close to Kiss. But we've got to make sure Kiss don't get in the, get the highest number of votes. So make sure you vote for Kiss.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like Nirvana to get in, but I don't want them to be above Kiss on the voting tally. I
Yeah,
mean, Nirvana has done some influence
there's some
in the world as well of music, so
great, influenced a lot of the grunge era stuff. And they're great. They're a good band,
yeah.
I must say.
Just don't want
Uh,
people like LL Cool J or NWA. They got
oh,
nothing to do
please,
with fucking rock
rock
and
and
roll.
roll.
Get them out.
They
Get them
can
out.
stay the f
If you
away from.
have to, vote
Put
for
it,
Deep
put them in
Purple.
the put them in the Rap Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. If you have to, vote for Deep Purple. If you have to.
Yeah, Deep Purple.
Actually, no, no, no. Vote for Krazy Knights. Get us in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Vote for us.
No,
Yeah, no, David. This is a political thing. I'm gonna. That's it. Vote one for Krazy Knights. Get this one in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Imagine that
yeah.
would be a be a video talk show in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We haven't even been around for just under 25 weeks. That's eligible.
So, yeah.
25 years, 25 weeks. Yeah, we can get in.
Well, we'll have to be. If we became eligible, I'd be freaking. Uh, I'd be 60, 60 freaking six or something. No,
No, no, no,
60,
no, no.
67. You'd be what? if we're going 25 years after our first podcast.
Well, why not? Why not?
We're just joking around, people.
Here, David playing lawn bowls and I'm playing bingo, so that'll be a good.
Yes, but yes, playing lawn bowls, but can you get
But
beer
no,
at
no,
night?
seriously, no, seriously. Vote for Krazy Knights for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All votes go to Kiss.
Oh, I can see where the shit we're gonna get now.
Why not? We're not getting this shit. This is a good thing. Hey, the next time when next time when the federal election comes around, let's start a Kiss party or something like that. We don't even know. We might get in.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Everybody's got their own political agenda.
Well, if I can have the car enthusiast party, why not the kids party?
Well, let me tell you something. Before we close off, we'll just wrap up on this subject here.
Yeah.
The world's in a shit state at the moment. We need to make it better. So it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Look at all the people that they're inducted in. That's nothing to do with freaking rock and roll music. Vote us in. Vote us in, and we'll give you guys the credit. We'll give you the bands and the artists that you deserve in. Vote us in. That's our political statement. That's our political. But no, if you need to vote for Kiss, you got 2 days to do it. Vote for Deep Purple if you have to, or vote for something in the.
Deep Purple, yes.
But seriously, vote for Kiss.
Yeah.
Because it's a Kiss.
Yeah. Make sure you vote for Kiss.
Yeah, vote for Kiss. All right, guys. Tell us the reason why you think Kiss shall be in this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or if you have our opinions, what may happen. They could get screwed over again. The Rock and Roll Hall screw job, we'll call it, if that happens. And yeah, just basically give us your opinions and your intake on that, because, like I said, this is going to be the next topic for the next 2 days, and we're going to keep our eyes on it and see if Kiss are on top. And then around January, early January next year, we'll start to see who has been inducted in. So this is going to be the next month of eyes lobbing in David. We're going to keep our eyes peeled to the score sheets and whatnot, and see what's happening in the tally board behind the scenes, and see what happens. But guys, go to Krazy Knights on Facebook. Krazy Knights, the Australian Kiss podcast on Facebook. We've got a page there. Go to our YouTube channel at Krazy Knights 1 at YouTube. Go to our Twitter page at Krazy Knights 1 at Twitter. And go to all the other links that are linked up to that, podbean.com, Spreaker, Stitcher Radio, and all the other things. We'll see them in iTunes as well. Leave your comments, please. Leave your reviews. And also, we'll say this again, give us your mug of the week. We are getting a lot of comments now, and we're going to come up with the mug of the week probably in the next 2 weeks before the year is finished. So we'll keep you posted with that, and we'll pick one, and the prize will come out to that person. So yeah, so guys, check us out, and we'll be back next week on Krazy Knights. Catch you, David.
See you, Jamie.